Hey, what's going on? This is Sunshine.
And E.
All right. Now, we're going to do these questions today. Sunshine's going to kick out a little question. And if you all check out some of our questions, you'll notice that we kind of got a different vibe in our questions. And I kind of deal kind of outside of yourself. And she kind of really focusing to a lot of internal things about people. And that's good. That way we give you a variety. So what's your question today?
My question is, how do you deal, and it's probably like a two-part question.
Okay.
How do you deal with patience?
Patience.
Meaning patience of other people internally. How do you deal with your patience of someone else?
Deal with somebody else.
And
Okay.
then the timing of dealing with that. Like dealing with someone else. You got to, draw within your patience of someone. And then at the same time, do I attack that or do I wait? Do I absorb it, then present it? If that makes sense.
I got you.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when it comes to patience and dealing with people in general, I'm originally from the North. And I think about some of the things I did during the winter months. I was like, my goodness, I did that during that time. That's crazy. But at that time, it didn't seem crazy or outlandish at the time because I was conditioned to do that. And that's kind of how I look at patience, especially with dealing with other people. See, I'm a little different than most people. Most people feel that there's a wheelhouse that as long as people are within these parameters, even if they're not the same with me, I can accept that. But we all see that one person that's way outside the parameters. And then they go, well, we have this difficulty dealing with them. Where me, I don't. Because my wheelhouse for people is a whole lot bigger because I just think that there's so many people that's so much different than me that I have to give them. As long as they're doing it in respect and they're not doing it with venom, I can deal with that. So
Can you elaborate on that first, what you just said?
About the wheelhouse deal? It's just that, like, if it's a work or somewhere you go to church, a different place where you have a bunch of people you see somewhat regular, everybody got that one person, has that one person is like, that person's like out of the norm. Even though some of the other people are a little different, they're not so much different that everybody's pointing at that. But there's that person that you go, that person is crazy. Nobody can get along with. Nobody can talk to. They think they know everything. Everybody has.
Well, nowadays, it's a little bit more than just that one person.
Yeah, it's a lot more. Oh, absolutely. But so for me, I just look at the type of person they are in general. This is a person that is a decent person, go to work every day, treat their children well, pay their bills, just a regular person, but is a little different than me. I can deal with that because I just say they're different than me. And see, when people talk about affirmations, that is the conditioning. But most people just look at affirmations as, take on the day, I'm going to be great, I'm going to do, to build them up, to make them, which is good. But it's a conditioning. But you can also condition yourself to say, I know when I deal with that person, for example, there's some people that you say 2 words and they're going to take, for every 2 words that you say or speak, they're going to speak 1,000. You understand that person's that person. So you have to, for me, I just adapt around and go, that's them. But other people avoid them saying they don't let me get a word in edgewise, so they won't talk to them. I just understand who people are and I'm say, okay, this is how I deal with them. I don't stop being myself, but that's how I deal with them. So that's part of that part where you talk about what do you do to get yourself ready. It's just understanding who that person is or even a situation is. It's just like if you go to a place where, like when a lot of people can't stand buying cars unless they got money they can pay cash money. I want the car, write a check, use my card, I get the car and leave. But if you got to negotiate, a lot of people hate it. But I set my mind up, I'm going to be here all day. So it does not bother me to go and will and deal going to the car lot. It doesn't bother me.
Okay, so, I don't know if you answered the question the way I was expecting. When I'm saying patience, like you're dealing with, and you were always really good with this. I was never ever good with patience and timing. When something occurred, then you knew how to, not the right time to address this. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, everything's cool. But then when we get back home, you're like, okay, let's sit down. So and so on. I'm thinking everything was okay, and it wasn't. That's what I mean, timing. Okay, with that.
Okay.
Okay, with patience, I've never been patient. I've always asked the graceness of, to help me with that, because I like to attack things as they happen, and I don't know how to accumulate stuff all at one time. Maybe because I have a lot that's always on my plate, that I try to, I don't know how to, you know what? Breathe. It's not as bad as you think it is, Sunshine. It's not as bad, but I don't know. I don't know. I get frustrated and flustered at the same time. And I don't know how to. And then if someone comes in the midst of my frustration and flusteredness, give me a minute.
Right.
That's how I attack. And I can't,
yeah.
I don't know how to.
Well, see, I think what people have to realize is that everyone has certain things in them that comes natural to them when they handle certain things. I met a guy, and I'm not going to the full story, but he was a businessman, and he used to do a certain particular business. And people asked, hey, do you know how to do this? And if he didn't, he would get somebody that did know how to do it, that did know how to do it, hire that person to do it and learn from them. And what he used to say is he used to steal knowledge. So somebody do something,
I do that all the time.
I steal knowledge with people. So when you talk about
knowledge and sayings.
Now when you talk about how I did it, one of the things were some of them old 70 movies of the hustlers and all that. I always notice, and if you go watch something like Uptown Saturday Night or Which Way Is Up, when you had like John Amos paying the gangster and that stuff back with Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier, when the king came up, they didn't go crazy. They got real cool about it. Okay, and I adopted that.
You got that really
I stole
good.
That.
I'm just saying, because when I would think, okay, maybe it wasn't bad. Maybe I'm over, and I do overlook things a lot more than I really should. And I'm thinking, ooh, and then when you don't say nothing, but then later on you're like, okay, so it really was a big deal. So,
Right.
But that I think everybody needs to have. That, because there's a time for a place.
Right.
I remember you saying there's a time for a place for everything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I've learned during the years. I'm not saying I'm quite there, and I still kind of think about it. And but I still like to, when we right here. No, let's talk about it now.
Right.
That
is and really for everyone, that's a natural thing to do. But then you start changing it if you condition yourself to change that. Because it was that, as far as those hustlers and whatever, and how they kept it cool. That in an old commercial years ago, a deodorant commercial, a Right Guard commercial. Do you remember what their saying was?
I don't know.
Never let them see you sweat.
I'll never see you sweat.
And that one, I was like, I put those two together when situations come in. I'm going to be cool. Never let them think you're getting outrageous. And that way you can really think a lot more logically when you think that way. And let it breathe.
And that's true. But then with my case, because I always have a lot going on, that I tend to, okay, if you don't address it now, then when we go back to it later, I'm like, I don't remember it happened that way, or it really, I can't prove that it didn't or it did, because if I don't remember the whole thing, then, but I understand it. There's a time and a place for everything, and I understand never let us see you sweat. I understand all of that, but at the same time, I agree. There's a time and a place, and never in public. You never,
right.
And that's what I have to say about E. He always never addressed anything in front of other people, because what our business is our business, and that's the way it's supposed to be done. And I remember when his brother, and I don't mean to go over on a tangent, was getting married, and he said to his brother as being the man of honor. What was Best man. Man of honor. Best man, that always speak highly of each other.
Right.
Always. Yeah. And that's a good rule of thumb. And
wait till you get home to cut them up.
No, you don't. But you don't. I gotta say, you don't really. Even in the heated of the moment, when, even if he had gotten upset with me by something I said or might have done or whatever, still doesn't chew me up and spit me out when I get home. He explains that, however, whatever the situation is, you know, me at the moment, let's attack it. At the moment, not in public. I still learn not to do stuff in public. Not that, you know, but I'm like, but it shows on my face. I don't know how to hide that.
The thing is, like I say about conditioning, you have to condition yourself because no one's going to pick things up. Nothing is going to be picked up a certain way. But what you're trying to do when you say, hey, I want to do this, you're trying to learn how to swim without getting in the pool. You can't do that. You got to get in the pool to learn how to swim, even though I can't swim. But that's the only way I'm going to learn is get in the pool. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of people say, I want to do this, but you don't step away from what you've been doing. You can't use what you can't. It's not going to be overnight. You have to keep doing it and keep practicing. I used to have a bad and a quick temper, and I said eventually that's going to get you in trouble. So I said what I can handle, I got to try to find ways. And I used to use this phrase. I used to use my friend. A lot of times, I could look at my friend. I would say that, and that would calm me down. So I found something to calm me down. So I use that until I was able to work my way up to now. I don't have to use that anymore. I can be calm. So you got to find, and that's what about stealing knowledge. Find ways, whether it's within yourself or you see somebody else like, wow, how do they do that? And you see how they handle it. Then you start emulating that, and, you know, and then that helps you. So to me, that's the best way to deal with patience. Cause I'm just overall a patient person overall. I mean, when I run errands, I do things, I just understand that. That's so, you know,
patience is a learned behavior. I'm just saying, and it's a practicing behavior. You have to practice the patience because if you don't practice it, you're never going to get it. I do practice it. I've gotten better. There are times, and it depends on the situation. So my question to everyone, I want to know is how do you deal with your patience of someone you love versus someone you don't know or even care about, and how do you deal with timing of attacking the situation that has come up between you and whoever?
Right. And when you're dealing with people, when we get out after this, I always tell people, even in conversations, especially when you deal with jobs and different things, I was like, you can always go negative. You can't always go good, positive.
That's true.
You can't. You can always go negative. But you can't. Once you go negative, you can't always go positive.
Wait a minute. In
other words, if you're dealing with a person, you can always call them a name. That option is always available. But once you do that, you might not be able to go back good.
Oh, you can't.
You can always go negative. So take the opportunity to try it the other way first. Because you can always go that way.
So I thought you meant. I
You can always go negative. So, but y'all let us know what y'all think and how you all handle it. We're gonna get out of here. Before we do me a favor, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, also share, comment below, and I do believe that's it.
That's it. Thanks for listening to
Sunshine and E.